Reminder, I'm going to be holding these press conferences every Wednesday at 1 o'clock. I expect there'll be certain weeks where there are maybe emergency announcements or new announcements, and we'll have to do more than once a week. But for now, if you could get into a routine of every Wednesday, 1 o'clock, tuning in, we'll do our best to give you the most up-to-date information about coronavirus in Rhode Island. And again, if you haven't had a chance to sign up for the daily email, I'd encourage you to do that at governor.ri.gov. Okay, we'll begin today, as we always do, with the data, and I'd ask that you please put the graph up on the screen. You will see from the screen that yesterday we had 52 new cases, and very sadly, another 2 fatalities. There has not been a day since we've started this together that there haven't been fatalities, and we're nearing 1,000 fatalities. So for everyone in Rhode Island, I want you to know this disease continues to kill Rhode Islanders every day, and it's on all of us to do everything we can in order to keep a lid on the virus. And to those of you who have lost a loved one, our hearts go out to you, and know that we are with you. Speaking of data, I want to take a few minutes now to talk about this data and also put it into context for where we've been, where we are, where we may be going, and also what's happening around the rest of the country. It's hard these days to avoid news of spikes and outbreaks in other states, in some other countries. And so the question I'm getting most often is, how does Rhode Island fit into all of that? So I'd like to take a few minutes to go through that. Last Wednesday, I believe, I showed you a model of where we are in Rhode Island in hospitalizations. And I suggested the different paths we could take. There was the yellow line and the blue line. The blue line was a steady decline, which is our goal, which is where we've been over the past few weeks, decline, and where I want us to stay, where we should stay, where we will stay if we follow the rules. The yellow line is an increase, and as I said at that time, and I'm going to repeat it again today, if we let our guard down, we're going to see a surge. That's not my opinion. That's just a fact. That is a fact. This virus lives, it's lurking with us and will be every day until we have a widely available vaccine. And so the fact is, if you take nothing away from this press conference, I want you to hear this. If you let your guard down, more Rhode Islanders will die, more businesses will go out of business, our children will have a hard time getting back to school, and there'll be a lot more needless, unnecessary hospitalizations and human suffering. If you don't wear your masks, if you stop wearing your masks, if you crowd up, if you have large social gatherings, if you try to sneak around the rules, if you try to push the edges of the rules and you try to get close to people, if you allow congregating in your restaurant, if you're operating a restaurant as if it's a bar when you shouldn't be, if you're piling 10 people into the car to go to the beach and not wearing your masks, I want you to know this. You are absolutely endangering the lives of Rhode Islanders and businesses and people's livelihoods and the ability of us to get our kids back to school, which they deserve. That's not my opinion, that's a fact. The virus is here, and it will surge if we don't follow the rules. And on that slide in front of you, you can see an estimate by us of what that could look like. In the past few days, we have seen a slight uptick in cases and hospitalizations. And you'll see on the slide before you now, the day before yesterday, we saw 102 new cases. It's the first time we've seen more than 100 cases in a single day since June 10th. and you see a slight uptick in hospitalizations. So you can see on the slide before you, you see the round bubbles, the circles, that's our actual experience. So in just a week from the last time I was here with that same slide, we are starting to move towards the yellow and away from the blue. That's not a good day. And I think we can do better. It's not cause for panic at all, not even close, but it's cause to pause. And every one of us just pause and ask ourselves, are we doing everything we can to follow the rules so that we keep ourselves on the blue line and we don't follow that yellow line? That is what we all have to ask ourselves. Today, look, today, Rhode Island still remains in a good place. But in just the week, from last week and this week to when I put that slide up, it's not a good thing that we're trending more towards yellow than blue. I also say this to the young people out there. Today, the statewide test positive rate is just under 2%. So that's excellent. Good job, Rhode Island. That equivalent rate, test positive, among people between the ages of 20 and 29 is 7%. You guys got to do better. I know it's summer. I know you want to party. I know you want to go to the beach. I know you want to go out, and that's fine. You need to know this. Other people deserve to go back to work. Small businesses deserve to reopen their business and not have me have them to close it again. These kids deserve to go back to school in the fall. People deserve not to be in the hospital. People deserve to be able to go visit their loved ones in nursing homes. And your unwillingness to follow these rules is putting all of that at risk. So I'm asking everyone to not let your guard down and just follow the rules. And if you're in that age bracket, 20 to 29, just do the right thing. It's true, you might not get sick. That is true. I'm not going to pretend that the experience of a perfectly healthy 23-year-old with this virus is the same as someone who's 65. But what's happening, you see it all over the country. The young folks who are crowding into beach houses, crowding into restaurants, crowding wherever, well, then they go home to mom and dad and aunts and uncles, maybe their coworkers, and it gets spread to other populations which aren't going to do as well with this virus. So I'm saying everyone has been asking me, really, I have been overrun with questions. People are anxious. People are seeing what's happening all over the country. Are you worried? Here's my answer. I am not panicked. We have excellent systems. Our test positive rate is below 2%. Rhode Islanders have been fabulous in dealing with this. But I am saying, do not let your guard down. We are not out of the woods. We're not even halfway through this fight. And as sure as I'm standing here today, I can promise you, if we start to congregate, stop wearing masks, stop following the rules, if we can't get a handle on folks in their 20s to stop congregating, then it's a fact. We're going to surge. We'll have more people hospitalized. We'll have more deaths. And I may have to shut businesses in some way. So let's not do that. Let's just not do it. Let's do the right thing. Let's follow the rules. Now, there are also folks who say, well, it's just a day or two of increased cases. And that is true. I'm not saying it's a trend. I'm saying we've had a couple of higher days. It is not a trend. But I'll say this. Our fortunes can change very quickly. And remember this. It took us just a few weeks to fly up the curve, to go from where we were in March to fly up the curve to a very dangerous place. It took us 10 or 11 weeks to come down. And that was painful. That was asking businesses to put their lives and their businesses on hold. So you go up faster than you come down. Again, let's learn from our fellow states. Last month, in 6 days, South Carolina tripled its percent positive rate from 4% to 14%. In Florida, the total number of cases doubled in 15 days, from 80,000 to 152,000. Arizona is seeing a doubling every 15 days, and they had a 300% increase in new cases in the month of June. Texas went from 1,800 hospitalizations to 3,200 hospitalizations, essentially a doubling of their hospitalizations in Texas in 14 days. And I could go on, but the point is, this changes quickly. I was on a phone call Monday with the White House and fellow governors, and I feel for these states. The governors in these states are struggling to find enough medical staff to staff their hospitals. The discussions they're having are the discussions we were having in our darkest days in March and April. So I would just say, like, Rhode Island isn't immune. Rhode Islanders are doing a fantastic job following the rules, but we're not immune to this. And what's happening in these other states could happen here. I don't believe they will, because I think we're going to do the right thing. But I want to urge you in the strongest possible terms. It is summer. The weekend is coming. We all have cabin fever. Just please continue to follow the rules. And, you know, I'll say that for me, the most concerning things that I hear when I run into people and they say, Governor, you did a good job handling the virus. Thanks for getting us through the virus. Guys, we're not through it. We're not even halfway through it. Our first case was just over 4 months ago. We're a year away from a vaccine. We're not even close to halfway through it. So now is not the time to say, you know, we did this, good job, let's move on. Absolutely not. We're doing it now. We're living it. We're going to be living it every day. And if you don't believe me, take a minute to talk to a nurse or a doctor, an emergency room doctor, a certified nurse's assistant who's worked in a nursing home, a pulmonologist at one of our hospitals. They have been living it on the front lines, and they don't want to be Texas, Arizona, California, some of these other places. So I would just ask everybody, readjust your mindset. And if you see one another, don't say, good job getting through the virus. Like, vigilance, 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 vigilance. High alert for the next year, follow the rules so we can keep people safe and back to work, back to school, back to, you know, having a semblance of an economy. Later, I expect you will have many questions. Maybe members of the press will have questions around what's behind the 100. Is it broad community spread? Is it some outbreaks? The answer is we're still trying to get our hands around it. Dr. Alexander Scott is going to talk about a couple of outbreaks. We're working really hard with our contact tracing and testing to try to figure out, is it broad community spread? Is it limited outbreaks? Can we put a lid on the outbreaks? But for now, I just want to ask you for continued cooperation and vigilance and kindness. You know, we gotta be there for each other. If someone asks you to keep your mask on, just put it on. Small businesses are closing because their employees are being harassed for doing their job. That's not the spirit of Rhode Island that got us to where we are. And I'd ask us all to just ratchet back the anger and impatience, ratchet up the rule following and the kindness so we can get through this together. In the spirit of everything I've just been saying, I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about our beaches. I will say, I think Rhode Island has some of the best beaches in America. I think the best. It's one of my favorite parts of the state. I grew up going to the state beaches. Every day of every summer as a kid, we went to the state beaches in Narragansett. And so I know how special our beaches are and how important our beaches are for families of Rhode Island. And I want you to go to the beach. You know, I want you to go to the beach and go swimming and run around and enjoy that. But I have to say, we're struggling to keep the crowds under control at the beaches. And the reality is, we're seeing really big crowds at the beach. Last month, even compared with last year, last month, even with our reduced parking, our state beaches saw 50,000 more cars than at the same time last year. And I believe the town beaches are similar. I know certain town beaches, their visitation and parking is way up this year, year to date, compared to last year. And I get it. I get it. Vacations have been canceled. Everyone's been stuck in the house. Lots of summer camps are still canceled. You don't know what to do with your kids. It's 90 degrees. It's time to go to the beach. And I understand that, and I want you to be able to go to the beach. But we also have to follow the rules. And what that means is, you know, if you're going to go to the restroom, or you're going to go to the concession stand, or you're going to hang around the pavilion, we'd ask you to wear a mask. We'd ask you to try to keep a few feet of distance from you and everyone who's there who's obviously not in your family or your close group. And we'd ask you to not go to the beach in big groups. You know, your group of 10 meets another group of 10, it's a problem. This weekend, we had particular issues with compliance at Misquamicut State Beach and Scarborough State Beaches. And again, I think it's fair to say that we had a bit more problems with folks in that 20 to 30-year-old age bracket. So last week, I got up here and I was asked by one of the members of the press, hey, would you close beaches? And I said, not unless I felt I had to. And I've said from the beginning, the name of the game is flexibility. At this point, I feel we have to make some changes. By the way, at those two beaches, Misquamicut and Scarborough, not only are we seeing massive overcrowding at the beaches and no mask wearing, or not enough, those beaches spill over into you know, restaurants, concession stands, et cetera, in the community, which has led to too much congregating and no social distancing in the restaurants and bars and such around them. So I'm announcing now that effective tomorrow, the parking lot at Misquamicut State Beach and Scarborough State Beach will be reduced to 25% capacity. So we're cutting it way back at those two beaches. I expect that means the parking lots are going to be full by 9:30 in the morning. And so I'm asking everybody to follow those rules. If you're lucky enough to be able to walk to one of those beaches, that's fine, but I'll tell you this, don't think that you can just park illegally on the streets nearby and walk to the beach, because we are going to seriously crack down on that starting this weekend. Our DEM is in very close contact, state police and DEM are in very close contact with all the municipal police, and we're going to really amp up the enforcement over time, probably even significantly increase the fines related to illegal parking around the beaches. We also are going to be significantly increasing our enforcement presence this weekend. We're going to have a lot of folks walking around in the area in Misquamicut, in Narragansett, around Scarborough, to all the local restaurants and concession stands, just to make sure there's appropriate mask wearing and appropriate social distancing. We are also going to have a lot of staff on the beaches passing out masks. So listen, we've all, we forget, sometimes you forget your mask, you leave it on your beach towel, you go to the bathroom. So we're going to make it easier. We're going to have people at the pavilions, at beaches, handing you a mask. And I'd ask you to just say thank you, take it, and please put it on. So I'm sorry that we have to do this, but it's necessary. It got out of control last weekend, and despite our best efforts, we weren't able to control it. Also, we've been hearing from far too many businesses that their employees, often young employees, are getting harassed by patrons who are cranky about having to keep a social distance or wear a mask. And so we're going to help you out. You shouldn't have to deal with that. I'm sorry, your lives are hard enough as it is, so we're going to have a lot more people. I might even, I'm talking to General Callahan to see if it makes sense to have some members of the National Guard out and about in a friendly way, walking the streets, walking the area, just to make sure we keep a lid on the crowds at the establishments around Scarborough and Misquamicut. Anyway, 25% parking, Scarborough and Misquamicut this week. Make your plans now, and let's hope for a better, safer weekend, next weekend at the beach. I will say, remember, all the state parks are open, other beaches are open. Go to the beach for a couple of hours. Maybe you don't have to go the whole day. That's something that I would suggest. Just everybody, let's just be kind and considerate. If you normally were going to go for the whole day and pack your whole family into the car, go in a smaller group and spend a couple hours and leave and give somebody else a chance to do it. Okay, so that is a little bit on beaches. I would say we're going to adjust as we go. People are going to say, what about this beach? What about that park? I want to be flexible and find that right balance between allowing people to be outside and also keeping people safe. Also, the municipalities had a really rough time. Narragansett, South County, Westerly, local officials had a rough time controlling it this weekend. So I've made the decision, balancing all of these issues. If we have to close other beaches going forward, then we'll do that too. A couple more announcements. One, I want to, again, recognize the excellent work of the men and women in the Rhode Island National Guard. They have been absolutely vital to our state's response: testing, contact tracing, enforcement, helping us provide services to the vulnerable, food delivery, nursing home assistance, nursing home support, PPE support. I could not be more grateful to General Callahan and his team, who are extraordinary and a huge part of Rhode Island's success in dealing with coronavirus. Unfortunately, the full federal reimbursement from the federal government to Rhode Island for our use of the Rhode Island National Guard is slated to end in August, at the end of August. I don't see, certainly the crisis will not be over by the end of August in Rhode Island or in this country, and I would like to be able to continue to use the National Guard with full federal reimbursement. So yesterday, I joined 39 other states in sending a letter to President Trump asking for an extension of the full federal funding for the use of Rhode Island National Guard to the end of the year as we continue to deal with the coronavirus crisis. I am hopeful that the President will grant the request of 40+ of America's governors, and the President has also said publicly that he's considering and very likely to extend the federal state of emergency beyond the end of July. So I get questioned frequently about the Guard. They've been fabulous. I hope to be able to get the federal funding to use them fully to the end of the calendar year, at least, because we know the crisis will be lasting that long and COVID isn't going away anytime soon. However, we have plans in place. We're always working contingency plans so that if we have to reduce the use of the Guard with contact tracing and testing, we're putting plans in place now, and then we will use our coronavirus relief fund to hire additional people to do some of the work that the Guard is doing. So that, again, that's the balancing act, and that's why we have to use our COVID relief fund to hire folks if we need to. Okay, I want to use the rest of our time together this afternoon to talk a little bit about our economy and some of the efforts that my administration has made and will make to better support our small businesses. As I have said numerous times in these press conferences, the amount of suffering that's going on in Rhode Island's economy is it's really unprecedented, certainly in my lifetime and in most of our lifetimes. Folks are struggling. We have tens and tens of thousands of people out of work, many people going to bed at night wondering if they've been temporarily furloughed or are they ever going to get their job back. And I hear from you. I've talked to many of you. Lots of small businesses wondering, can we survive? Can we get through this? How are we going to get through this? And I want you to know that we hear you, and we're going to do everything we can to get you back to work if you're out of work, and to help your business survive if you're a small business person. There's a lot of discussion everywhere. You know, you hear it all the time, this phrase of the new normal. Let's get back to the new normal. And as I've said often, I don't love that term because I want to be better than the old normal. You know, the old normal wasn't that great for a lot of people. If you didn't have a degree past high school, if you were a person of color, or you are a person of color, if you, were a victim of systemic discrimination or racism, the old normal wasn't working so great for you. Chances are you were working 1 or 2 jobs, 40, 50, 60 hours a week, barely getting by, and worried about your future. And so as we move forward, as Rhode Island claws its way out of this crisis, as we together in the weeks and months ahead do the hard work of standing up this economy from the ground up, let's aim to do better than the old normal. Let's be more innovative, more equal, more resilient, and more committed to every single Rhode Islander to make sure they have access to the job training and education that they need to get a good job, that small businesses have access to the support they need to transform their business, to be more technical and digital so they can be successful as the economy changes. And let's provide the support to people that they need, like housing, like child care, like transportation, to actually hold down a good job and get a good job in the first place because they have the skills, and hold down a good job. And let's be ever mindful that the economy is really changing, and COVID has put that on full display. I have said it so many times, but I say it all the time. When I got out of high school in the late 80s, most jobs in Rhode Island only required a high school degree. You could get a really good job. Those days are over. So we have to equip our workers with the skills they need to be effective in this new economy. And so as I look forward to where do we go from here, that's my lens. I started as your governor at a time when Rhode Island had the highest unemployment rate in the country, and together we rebuilt our economy. And now we're going to do it again. I want you to know I am confident we will do it again. If you're out of work, I want you to hear me. We're going to get you back to work. If you're out of work and you worked in retail and you only have a high school degree and you're really stressed out because you think your job's going away forever, we're going to be there for you. We're going to get you retrained, and we're going to get you a new job. If you're a small business hanging on by a claw, we're going to reach out to you immediately and get you some relief, but then we're going to stick with you to rebuild. If you're a single mom with a couple kids, and you need to get an education, and you don't know who's going to take care of your kids so you can get job training, we're going to wrap around more services to job training so it's more effective so you can get back to work. We have rebuilt this economy before together, and we're going to do it again. And it's not going to happen in a day or a week or a month, but I'm going to stick with you until we get back to where we were and better so folks get to work. Now, some of that is the immediate. I'm going to make some announcements right now with how we're going to use our stimulus monies to immediately get cash out the door to people who are struggling. And then some of it is long term. You know, later this month, I'll get together with the legislature. We're going to put a budget together. We're going to put bonds on the ballot. We're going to go forward next year. And we're going to keep our eye on the prize of rebuilding Rhode Island and standing our economy back up in a way that's more resilient, innovative, and equal. At this point, I'm planning to use about $200 million of our federal stimulus money to provide some of that immediate relief for education, training, housing, small business relief, helping nonprofits, helping child care centers, just to help folks keep the lights on and get through the immediate crisis. And we're going to do our best to target it. That amount of money, by the way, is it's not even a drop in the bucket relative to the need. So we have to be smart about it, and we have to target it best to the folks who are hurting the most. So here's what we know. We know that 1/3 of our unemployment filings so far have been in 3 industries: food, hospitality, and retail. That is not a surprise. Everyone would know that. And retail's been brick and mortar retail has been struggling already. A few years ago, we put the Amazon tax just to help have basic equity so these small businesses here could survive. Any business owner knows, even in good times, if you own a restaurant, it's lean margins and tough to keep the lights on. And during the crisis, it's that much harder. And if you're a business owner of color, it's that much harder. So my Commerce Secretary and I have had a conversation with small businesses since May, really, just to understand how can we help you most. We posted a survey on reopeningri.com, and we've asked you, small businesses, who's struggling the most, how can we most help you? We recognize that we're not going to be able to meet the full need, so the question is, what's the most effective way we can help you now? Here's what's happened so far. So far, just over 17,000 local businesses have received $2.3 billion in funding from the federal government through the federal PPP program. So that's $2.3 billion. That's twice as much as the state's getting in our CARES Act funding. In addition, we've created a loan program specifically to help hospitality and micro businesses access federal funding. And we've provided technical support to over 300 small businesses. We also provided small businesses with over 500 new laptops, PPE, disinfectant solution, and access to a suite of Microsoft programs to make teleworking easier. Despite all of that, billions of dollars of loans, Herculean efforts by the Commerce Secretary to be there, the level of struggle is significant and real. So today I'm announcing that we'll be making an additional $100 million investment to directly support Rhode Island's smallest businesses. $50 million of this money will be made available in the first round of funding to provide direct cash assistance to assist businesses with reopening expenses: plexiglass, cleaning supplies, an online reservation system, touchless pay technology, as well as just the fixed cost of rent and utilities. We hear from so many people, we need a hand keeping the lights on, literally. So that's what this is for, immediate relief. 20% of the funds will be set aside for minority-owned businesses. The grants are available for up to $15,000 for each eligible Rhode Island business impacted by the COVID-19 crisis. Application for this funding is going to be available within the next couple of weeks. The team's working as fast as possible to get it out as soon as possible. And the framework for this, the details of how we think about it, who's going to be eligible, where you can apply, are going to be online later today at commerceri.com. And then, once they have the application completed in the next couple of weeks, they're going to put the application online. Our goal is twofold: get the money on the street into your pocket as fast as possible, but also to do it right. I will say this, there are a handful of other states who are ahead of Rhode Island in doing this. A handful of other states who've already put some money out the door to small businesses. We've talked to Commerce secretaries, I think probably talked to all of them. There've been, this is not an easy thing to do. To administer it is a challenge. In some states, they put it out the door, but not many people applied because they geared it in the wrong way. In other states, there have been administrative challenges. I'm not criticizing in any way. Everyone's struggling. I'm just saying we're trying to get it right and learn from them. So our goal is to get this out the door in the next few weeks, but also to get it right. And to all of the small businesses who've been spending time with us to help us structure it properly, and frankly to the other states who've helped us, I want to say thank you. This funding, the $50 million, is specifically designed to support small businesses that were hit hardest during the crisis. So restaurants, caterers, Rhode Island businesses that have 20 or fewer employees and who have lost a significant portion of your revenue in the past few months. So you're going to have to show us that in the period of COVID, you've seen a serious drop in your revenue. If you're a restaurant, a caterer, hospitality, et cetera, it's not going to be hard to show that. I want to say this is a first step. This isn't it. This is the beginning. In the coming weeks, we're also going to be making $26 million in additional stimulus dollars available for critical small business support services, and that would include nonprofit grants, technical assistance to businesses, and a quote-unquote repositioning program that'll help small businesses restructure their business models. We've heard a lot from small businesses that, yes, they need some money to keep the lights on, but they also need a hand to adjust their business model for this new economy. How to sell things online, how to allow people to work from home, there's so many ways that businesses need a hand to reposition. So that's what this $26 million is specifically designed to do. Furthermore, if we want to put this out fast and see how it goes. If we quickly run through the first round of the $50 million, then we can replenish it. We may learn that we have to adjust it, in which case we will do that too. The other thing is, while many businesses are reopening in some capacity, there are many businesses that are closed without a clear path forward. So if you're a travel agent or a big event planner, and this repositioning program might be perfect for you to think about, how do you get back on your feet? How do you reopen? How do you reimagine your business to get yourselves back on your feet? I'm also pleased to announce that in addition to that $76 million of the CARES Act funding, we're also going to be making available an additional $20 million to small businesses from the Small Business Development Fund, which the General Assembly authorized during the last legislative session. And we are also working with the Federal Economic Development Administration to pursue an additional $5 million specifically for our tourism industry. So the combination is quickly out the door $100 million to small businesses. The Small Business Development Fund was an initiative that was not initially targeted to help our smallest businesses to recover from COVID. But after the pretty incredible work of our commerce team and a great negotiation, they have figured out a way to transform that into something that is responsive to the small businesses dealing with COVID. So I want to say thank you to the participants in that Small Business Development Fund, and I want to push you, lean on you, urge you to get that money out the door as fast as possible to our businesses who need a hand. And we'll do anything we can to you to make that happen. The Commerce team's also been working with stakeholders in the minority business community to develop initiatives that will support entrepreneurs and emerging enterprises of color, and we're going to have more to say about that. So I would say, first of all, a big thank you to Stephen Pryor and his team at the Commerce Corporation. Second of all, to small businesses. You've had, you're going through something you never would ever want to go through, and help is on the way. And this is the beginning. And as we get this up and running, as we get the application online, as you start to use the program, I expect we'll hear a lot of good feedback. Thank you. We can keep the lights on. We can keep going. And also I expect we're going to hear feedback around, could you make it a little easier? Could you change it this way? Could you change it that way? Could you put more money into it? And so we want to get this off the ground. We want to keep hearing from you, and we want to continue to come back with more and different and better options. Finally, I do have to say thank you to our federal delegation led by Senator Jack Reed, and just say thank you to Senator Whitehouse, Congressman Langevin and Cicilline. The fact that I'm able to stand here and put forth $100 million to our small businesses is a direct result of their hard work in fighting in Washington for the people of Rhode Island. And so I just have to say thank you. And to small businesses, hang in there, and I hope this is the beginning of what will be your resurgence as we climb out of this crisis and come back to be an even better, stronger Rhode Island.